Once you've tweaked the shot's colours, tones and composition, it's time to add some new textures. And we're going to create these from scratch using other source files like Citadel, which I'm opening up from the cover disk. Now what we're going to do is increase the space around this so we can transform it and create some geometric patterns. So double click to unlock it, click OK. Then let's increase the space around the edge of the shot by going to Image, Resize, Canvas Size, and let's go to Percentage and type 300 for, actually no, let's type in 200 for the width and maybe 300 for the height. Click OK, and then Control minus will zoom out, and you can see there's lots of space around the edge there now for us to transform our shot. Okay, to create our spiral texture, what we're going to do is duplicate the layer by dragging this to the Create New Layer icon, and then Control T will give you the free transform tool. You can pop up here to the rotate section and type in 15 degrees. Click return to apply the change. Then what we can do is change the blending mode to darken, and that merges them in a very creative and cool way. Let's just repeat the process by copying this layer now, Control T, and let's rotate that by 15 degrees and hit return. There's another one, and let's do the same again. Control T, 15, get into a routine here, hit return, and the blending mode is of course the same as it was before. And finally, let's duplicate it one more time to create the rest of our spiral. So Control T, 15, and you get the picture. There we have a really cool looking spiral effect. Hit return to apply the final change. So as we've got our spiral effect here, we're going to add a naturally spiraling object from our source files, and that's called Shell. So drag that onto Photoshop, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, Control W to close that now, and Control V to edit, paste it in there. You could of course use the edit, copy and paste options from up here if you fancy. Then Control T to get the free transform tool, and then just make sure you've got constrained proportions ticked so you don't squash or stretch the shell, and scale it down into position over the design, and then maybe Control T again just to rotate it round so it kind of follows the spiral of the shot. And then when you're happy, hit return when it's in the middle, like so. Then we want to get rid of all this white here, so W for the Magic Wand tool, which you'll find here in the toolbar. Click to select that. The default of 32 tolerance should do the job, and then backspace to delete, Control D to deselect, and there's our shell applied to our spiral texture. To unify and join all these layers together, what we're going to do is tweak color and tone, and to do that we're going to use adjustment layers again. So click here, create a levels adjustment layer, and let's just pop this up to brighten the highlights by taking the highlight up to about 190. You can drag here or just type in a value like so, and let's darken the shadows as well by setting their shadow value to around about 51, which will make them much blacker. 51, there we go. Click OK to apply that for the moment. Now to unify all the colours together, what we'll do is create a new hue saturation adjustment layer. So click here, hue saturation. This time we're going to colorize the whole thing so it's got a similar color palette, and type in 256 to change the hue to a cool looking blue. Keep saturation down to about 21, push up the lightness a little bit, around about here should do the trick. Click OK, and what we're going to do is invert the whole thing by adding a new adjustment layer from up here, layer, new adjustment layer, and here we have invert, and that gives us this cool negative effect. So you've got a lot going on here in the layers palette, lots of adjustment layers, lots of rotated layers as well, but we're going to combine them all together so we can then apply them to our portrait. And to do that we can go to layer and then just choose merge visible, and that will give us a flattened layer but with a transparent background around the edge. And we're all ready to add that now to our portrait.